Today we're going to make my 2018 Mustang GT a little more street with help from MBRP. The MBRP Street Series Cat-Back was always a huge hit with the S550 crowd. Now it's moving on for the 2018 Mustang as well. Jesse's here from MBRP. Tell us about this system.
Well, as you know, we actually, just like we did for the 15 to 17, we actually have developed a street and a race series version for the exact, in the exact same fashion for the car. So our race being a louder, more aggressive tone, and what you see here is our street series. And then just like we do in the other kits, we actually make it in several material grades. So it's actually not a whole lot different than our previous generation car, except for the axle back portion. We had to design a muffler from sort of the
That's what you had said. This was unique for the quad tip.
Correct. Yeah, we couldn't fit basically the same size muffler that we'd done previously and have quad tip, so we had to kind of start all over and build it from scratch.
Just want to provide a little bit of a different tone than the standard street, or you made it as close as you could with a different style?
We did make it as close as we possibly could to the very popular street series we made before, because we figured if people loved it on the 15 to 17 car, we didn't really want to screw with it too much.
Okay. And obviously it's a quad tip, and we have 8 tips, so tell me about this here.
We do. All right, so these are the tips that come in the box, regardless of material grade that you buy. So if you buy an aluminized kit or you buy a 304 stainless kit like what we got
Street
here,
race, doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. This is what comes with it, except for with our black kit that comes with black coated.
Tip, sure.
But this is a very popular upgrade for a lot of our Mustang kits, and the 18 is not excluded from that. This is our new carbon fiber tip, and it just gives somebody a little more aggressive, a little more, I would say, bespoke look for the system, and it gives them a way to sort of differentiate themselves from the pack. They don't come with this system. It is a separate
so
purchase.
It's an option. If you want to add them, you can buy them.
Correct, yeah.
Great, let's get started with the installation.
Excellent.
For this installation, let a lift or a jack and jack stands, 3/8 ratchet, 13mm socket, 15mm socket, 8mm Allen key, and an exhaust hanger removal tool. Now this car previously had another aftermarket exhaust on, so we removed it quickly to install the MBRP. We're going to show you some stock footage of how to remove your factory Cat-Back. Removal of the 2018 exhaust is once again a 2-man job, but very easy to do. You're going to loosen the clamps up here, remove these 2 bolts for these rear brackets, pull these hangers off, and you can slide the whole thing off as one piece. From your factory exhaust, you want to retain these 2 rear hangers and these 2 clamps up front here. We'll begin the installation by installing the MBRP H-pipe.
All right, we're actually going to start with the H-pipe here with the factory clamps that Bill mentioned earlier. Now you'll notice that this has a brace kind of holding the 2 pipes together that's welded in there from the factory. Now we actually have the illustration showing this particular H-pipe with the hole facing down, and that's what we're going to do. Next, we're actually going to start with the passenger side intermediate pipe. We're reusing the actual factory hangers that we talked about earlier. And now we're actually putting in our factory bolt. Gonna go ahead and snug up this clamp. And now we're gonna install our passenger side muffler, and we're gonna put it in the hanger in the rear of the car first. Now go ahead and make all your adjustments, tighten up your clamps, and we'll move on to the tips. Now that we have everything buttoned up, we're going to go ahead and put on the tips. We're actually going to do the inside one on this side first so we can get to the bolt to tighten it. Now just repeat the process on the other side and you're all finished.
The MBRP Street fits great, looks good on the car. Now let's hear how it sounds. Sounds good at idle, little bit of rasp to it. Definitely louder than I expected a Street to sound, especially in the studio. So let's take it out on the road for a ride. One thing I'll say before I even take this car for a ride, I'm sitting here waiting for us to get cameras ready and shoot, but the Street almost has a little bit of a lope at idle. It almost sounds like a small cam. It's something unique. There's other exhausts that have done it in the past. I don't remember the MBRP doing that before, but it definitely feels like it has that sort of like a little slight lope to it when you're sitting here at idle. The MBRP Street was a very popular exhaust for the 15 through 17, and it really carries over to the 18. The reason, in my opinion, has always been that it's priced right, and it sounds good, it has a nice tone to it, it's not overly loud, but it's loud enough that it definitely has that aftermarket kind of sound to it. Get up to the RPM band, it does definitely get louder and you get a little more of that crisp kind of sound out of it. Now we're cruising, we're at about 2,000 RPM on the highway. Little hint of drone, but not bad. Kind of goes away actually if you get off the gas just a little bit less. Nice sound to it. Going through the RPM band, it's got a nice clean sound. It's not, like I said, it's not overwhelmingly loud, but it's loud enough that I said you know it's aftermarket. There's no confusing it for a factory exhaust system. But you can also easily have a conversation in the car too. Yeah, it definitely has a little bit of a deeper tone. Again, we're right about 2,000 RPM now, highway speeds in there. And the tone gets deeper. It's definitely far less raspier when you are on the highway. Now, driving around the street is making me think about the race, and I always like the way the race sounded as well. Kind of gives you the same tone, but more overall volume. Now, talking to Jesse, he did mention that they did redesign the race, so it's not the same as a 15 through 17 kit. It does not use mufflers, it actually uses resonators instead, so it should be interesting to hear how that one sounds. Thanks for coming out, and thanks for bringing the new Street exhaust. I love the sound of it. I think with the carbon fiber tips, this one might stick around for a while.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. As I mentioned, we've got a race series of the exact same Cat-Back coming out as well. This could be even a little more aggressive.
We have to try that one next then.
And hopefully we'll be over for another install video.
As far as the install goes, what do you figure? Hour and a half, 2 hours tops?
Yeah, hour tops.
And you're back on the road in no time.